Budget monitors hold a strong spot in the market, and with how panels have matured over the years, we see much better value for money at the entry price of $99 or 400 ringgit. Now, the A Open gaming monitor was our reigning champion as the go-to budget-friendly gaming monitor. I think it's called the 22CV1Q. But that model is finally done for because it's finally dethroned by a new contender, and in this Acer Nitro KG241Y review, we're going to share why. So let's dive right into this review, and you're watching The Adventures of Vesper. Let's begin. Now, before we proceed any further, if your plan is to get a budget-centric gaming monitor under 400 ringgit, or you have a very tight budget as a student or someone who's just starting their first job and all that, yeah, then stick around because you're going to love this review. And something that you need to take note is that at this price point, you've got to forgo a lot of fancy things, and you need to look for two important criteria which makes up for a good value for money gaming monitor. Now, that's a good panel and a decent connectivity. And when I talk about connectivity, I'm talking about HDMI and DP, because these two ports are pretty crucial, especially if you have a PlayStation or any type of console and a PC to connect to it. Now, starting off with the display and panel of this one, this Acer Nitro KG241Y features a 24-inch display, which is bigger than a laptop for one, and it comes in a 1080p resolution, which is perfectly alright for this dimension. Now, IPS panels are great, and logically that's the panel I would go for because it has better color production, looks great to the eyes. But the catch with IPS panel is that you might not get a higher refresh rate and response time in this price point. Now, there are many panels out there, but those are extremely expensive, and in this price range, at most you could get is a 120 Hz refresh rate IPS panel. But I think that monitor is a bit hard to come by. If we have the chance to take a look at it, we will probably let you know. But this particular monitor, the Acer Nitro, features a VA panel, and I must say, and I was very impressed with this one because VA panels have improved and offers the best of what IPS and TN panel offers. Now, VA panels have so much more better potential to hit higher refresh rate, and in this case, the Acer Nitro KG241Y does a whopping 180 Hz with 0.5 millisecond response time. And take it from us, we tried a plethora of game on this one, and I'm impressed to see how far VA panels have come and matured. It is AMD FreeSync Premium enabled, but for those G-Sync users, it still recognizes as a G-Sync compatible monitor. Now, for users who dabble in the world of Apex Legends, Counter-Strike, and competitive shooters like such, you're going to be happy with this because higher refresh rate is absolutely crucial to your gaming experience. And in this case, the 180 Hz refresh rate with 0.5 millisecond response time does a fantastic job. Now, for casual gamers like myself who enjoys games like Doom Eternal, and I even tried the recent Ark Riders playtest, and the list goes on, honestly, I wasn't disappointed. And in fact, this Acer Nitro monitor is easily better than the A Open monitor we reviewed years ago. Because that one had washed out colors, it was just okay for gaming and all that, but this one, man, the colors have improved a lot, and I think VA panels have really matured. Now, what really caught my attention with this one are the colors and the viewing angle. Now, I've seen a lot of terrible VA panel, and this one is by far one of the best VA panels I've seen in this budget-centric monitor. Now, the viewing angle has also improved, so this one goes to about 175 degrees, which is way wider than like your older generation VA panel, which hits about 150 to 160 degrees. And out of the box, the colors of this monitor is a little bit muted and has a bit of a cold tone bias. But thanks to the OBD controls, you can adjust the tone of this display to perhaps neutral or to warm. And in my case, I like warmer tone, so I set it up to warmer tone, and it just was great for me. Now, for those people who are looking for a color grading capable monitor in this price point, I'm not going to recommend this because you can actually see the colors shift from a saturated tone to a pale-ish tone when you switch between refresh rates. And for those who are looking for a decent color accurate monitor, you still have to look for one that costs a bit more because the white tones on this monitor sides more towards an ivory white tone rather than a neutral white tone, which is really not a good thing for color work. So for general consumption such as gaming, for entertainment, and maybe if you want to do the lightest bit of editing possible where the color accuracy isn't particularly necessary, then you know what, you're okay. Now the reason why we emphasize this, because there were a bunch of students who came up to us and asked, is there any monitor in the 400 ringgit range that can do color work, because our arts degree or course requires one, which is why we are highlighting this. So if you have any thoughts about this one, please do let us know in the comment section below. And for those who are looking at a budget-centric monitors, if there's anything that you want us to review, let us know in the comment section below, because we will be more than happy to check it out and see if it works for your degree as well. Alright, now let's move on to the other areas, starting off with the ports and speakers. And I'm happy to report that this monitor has one HDMI 2.0 and a DisplayPort 1.2, which is more than enough to connect to a device, perhaps your laptop and a gaming PC, or your gaming PC and a console, however you like it. If getting a dedicated speaker breaks your bank, well, don't worry about that, because this monitor has a small speaker that sounds okay if you need one, but there's a good chance you're going to be resorting to your headphones, and that's completely alright. Now this other point that I'm going to talk about really caught me by surprise, which is the OBD control. Now generally cheap monitors would have multiple buttons to control the brightness, power and other quick settings, but not this Acer Nitro monitor, because it has proper joystick control, making life a whole lot easier in controlling the inputs, settings, making fine adjustment and so on. A big W to Acer for this one. Now if you want to talk more on the design side, I appreciate Acer for keeping this design modern looking enough, where the bezels are super thin on the front, it's almost frameless. The stand is decent too, though it has its limited adjustability, but you still have the option to mount it to a VESA mount or a desk mount, which not a lot of monitor in this price bracket offer. And yes, such a simple feature that doesn't cost much, and I'm happy that they have included with this monitor. Now, is there anything else that you really need to worry about the Acer Nitro monitor? Now, at this price point, I really don't think so, because under a 400 ringgit, there are so many compromises Acer could have done. In fact, they could have probably used a much cheaper TN panel and maybe bump up the refresh rate to about 240 Hz, which is going to be fun, but the colors would have been abysmal. And maybe they could have limited the ports to just HDMI and VGA, or kept a very dated design and so on. But I'm very glad Acer didn't do any of those and managed to retain the bare minimum in other aspects like the stand and such, but include a better panel, ports and even a speaker. We know monitors cost over $1,000 to not feature any speaker, so this was really quite a surprise. And for students and consumers out there who are on an extremely limited budget, this 24-inch monitor does real justice. And I'm happy Acer still makes affordable and usable monitors at this price point, and I hope this budget series of monitors don't fade away and only gets better over time. We give the Acer Nitro KG241Y our Vesper Choice Award for the best bang for the buck gaming monitor under 400 ringgit or under $99 US, and that's without Trump's tariff. And that's all there is. It's a very simple and straightforward review, but if you have any questions, keep the comment section very respectful, and I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you all and perhaps help you out with picking up the right monitor or even this one. Well, I'll see you in another video. Until then, this is Prithviraj signing off. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.